All right, Van Jones has weighed in on this controversy, and he's such a major, important commentator. We have to talk about it. CNN commentator Van Jones slammed Representative Marjorie Taylor Greene following her personal attacks on a fellow member of Congress during a House Oversight Committee hearing Thursday night. The committee hearing, held to vote on whether to hold Attorney General Merrick Garland in contempt of Congress, divulged into chaos after Greene made a comment about the appearance of Representative Jasmine Crockett, Democrat of Texas, and her fake eyelashes. I don't think you know what you're here for, Greene said to Crockett. So I already showed this in my other video. It was called AOC Embarrasses Herself over Marjorie Taylor Greene. I'm not going to read this again. In response to the incident, Jones suggested that some lawmakers just want attention. I think that the standard of conduct has been pulled down slow by some of these folks in Congress, Jones said Friday in comments on CNN. They go there because they want to be celebrities. I'm talking about Marjorie Taylor Greene and others. Well, I mean, couldn't you kind of make the case that pretty much anyone that gets involved with this stuff has some ego and wants some degree of notoriety, that to win an election, you have to be known within at least the district or the state that you're trying to represent. And oftentimes, if you want to promote an issue or some cause, you try to get national attention for it, on some occasions by pulling stunts like the ones that Greene has done in the past. Why do we even know her name? Marjorie Taylor Greene has never passed a bill, he continued in the panel interview highlighted by Mediaite. She's never chaired a committee. She's never done anything but be a provocateur and a clown and get under the skin of people and this kind of stuff that goes on. So this is actually something I agree with. That, as far as I can tell, she's never passed a bill. I don't expect her as a two-term congresswoman to have chaired a committee. You tend to be able to do more those types of things after having multiple terms, at least in the House. I know there's some senators who, after one term, have been able to become chairman of committees. But my point is that that's less so something that's her fault, and more so just the institution and seniority being a big deal. But he's right. Greene has never accomplished anything in her years in the House, but I want to ask the question, what members of the House could you really say on a singular level have accomplished anything? I mean, even with, the speaker that everybody loves to praise, Pelosi, her most ardent supporters tend to bring up one bill, the Affordable Care Act, as some proof of her legislative accomplishments, as her proof of being a master legislator. So his critique of Greene, I would agree with, right? Never passed anything, but I kind of feel like you can say that about most of them or a lot of them. I don't know, it's just the way that Congress is now, gridlock on the Republican side kind of makes it to where they're more known for opposing stuff than actually promoting something, right? So, like, wanting to cut Social Security and Medicare and deprive funding from SNAP and, various other things that they want to get rid of. But, in terms of, like, actually making something, you tend to not see that on their side anyway. After the eyelash comment, Crockett shot back at Greene later in the hearing, seemingly referring to her GOP colleague as bleach blonde, bad built, butch. But I did see that clip, and I do regret that I didn't see it before making my video because I would put it in there. The Texas Democrat and many others also accused Greene of making her comments laced with racial undertone. Here we go. While Jones seemingly agreed with the assessment, he added that she's a disgrace regardless of the intent behind her remarks. Whether she's racist or not, she is a disgrace to the American people. She is a disgrace to that Congress. Following the incident, several committee members railed against the episode as disgusting, embarrassing, in a middle school fight. But despite the fracas, the committee ultimately voted to hold Garland in contempt in an effort to censor him for failing to turn over audio recordings of President Biden to use in their impeachment probe. So I like how Van Jones makes the point of whether and look, I'm just gonna say this. The Democrats are doing themselves no favors, because I said before, Crockett was the person with the least culpability in that squabble. I thought that she was rude to Greene by saying, "Do you even know what we're here for?" But I did think the comment that Greene made about her eyelashes was not necessary. So I did give her that's why I didn't say she embarrassed her. I say AOC did, because she took over and became more offended than the actual person that was getting insulted. But the problem with this again is that every time you get into some kind of conflict with these people, if you're a Republican, you tend to get accused of having a problem with them because of their ethnicity, and I just don't think that's true. I believe MTG made a stupid, mean comment about Crockett that she would have made about probably any, because she's made nasty comments about AOC before as well, um, and they both happen to be minority, so I guess I get the undertone of it, but it still goes back to this thing where the actual comment itself, like if somebody said I had fake eyelashes, yeah, it's mean, it's rude, but is it really because of my ethnicity that they're saying that? So I'm not gonna call Greene that. We've seen her get called that. We've seen Trump get called that. That's just what they do anytime somebody insults them or speaks against them. But I tend to agree with most of what Van Jones said. I think that Greene is someone who has not accomplished anything, is able to get a lot of popularity, and her attempts to become a celebrity, to her credit, have worked. She's one of the highest fundraisers in the Republican Party at this point. And again, it's not because she's this uh, crusader for justice that's passing bills left and right. No, it's due to the fact that she has latched on to Trump in a way that most other members of her caucus of the House, Senate, just the Republicans in Congress have not been able to do, to such a troubling extent to where anything Trump says, she goes with, she promotes him heavily, just completely enveloped herself in him. Again, the way that you really don't see replicated by most other members of Congress. I think the only other current political figures that have done the Trump bootlicking as much as she does are probably like, I don't know. I was gonna say Ramaswamy, but he at least had enough courage to like run against him. Uh, I'd say Lake and Noam in particular, those two, and I brought them up before. Just like constant Trump, just fascination and sticking to him, and that has caused Greene to have popularity and to be seen as someone by Republican supporters, not by the just people in general, as this ardent defender of their most beloved president, which causes them to then latch on to her, even if she's not accomplished anything in her multiple terms in the House. And unfortunately, because she lives in a very safe red district where the Democrats would have a higher chance of of seeing the sky fall than of being able to defeat her, we're going to be stuck with her for possibly multiple decades if she's not picked as Trump's VP or runs for the Senate and loses a statewide race in Georgia. As long as she stays on that House seat, she knows she's going to be safe and able to rake in the money from pretty much doing nothing except going to Congress, screaming about President Trump, and then posting it online to get some more attention for herself. So Van Jones, he hit the nail on the head for most of his commentary, I have to admit.